Christina here. And if you follow along on the Let's Talk About It podcast page, or even my personal page, you've probably seen where I recently decided to start the Things We Don't Say Out Loud segment. It's kind of where people can post anonymously, maybe some things that they don't want to say and be identified for. And so I created a form where people could anonymously post things that maybe they just need to get off their chest or they would just like some validation or some advice on. And I've had some submissions already. And so this is kind of the first little segment of me doing that. Some people did put stuff in there, but whenever I asked if they wanted it to be shared, they said no. And so I'm going to make sure to keep that private and confidential, but I just want to make them know that I did see it and that you are heard and you are validated. And if you would like to speak to me personally about it and get it off your chest, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. And so some ones I did get that I want to share today that were allowed to be shared. Um, so I have a couple that just want it to get off their chest and just be heard or maybe just help somebody else. And so I'm going to start with those first. Um, One person said they're just feeling very alone in life. Um, they say it's hard to see others around me in relationships when I feel like I'm stuck with even trying to meet new people sometimes. It sometimes feels hopeless that I will never make a meaningful connection with someone. That's really hard. And I know that you said you just want it to be heard. So I just want to let you know that I do hear you and I validate those feelings. And I think a lot of people probably feel that way too. But when you're going through it, it really does make you feel like no one feels that way and that you are alone in your struggle. And I really do hope that things get better for you. And again, if you ever need to reach out to have someone to vent or talk to, my inbox is always open to explore that more if you would like to. Another one that someone shared, they put, this is not currently a thing, but when we were in the infant stages and knew nothing about being parents, before raising a baby, I always wondered how someone could be cruel and hurt a baby. And then I had a baby and realized if you don't have the proper coping skills or impulse control or self control to manage your own emotions or the desire to learn, it's actually really easy to do. When they're screaming and you have no clue what's wrong, you've exhausted the usual options and you're frustrated, it takes a lot of control to be able to recognize that you need a minute to compose yourself. As much as it feels terrible to walk away from a crying baby, it's better than losing control. Wow, that was really good and really true. And I think that's something a lot of people feel, but they're afraid to say that out loud because they're afraid of judgment or feeling like a bad mom or parent, mom or dad. That's so true. That's a normal feeling, especially when you're a first time parent. I think a lot of times we're not prepared for how hard that can really be. And I'm proud of whoever this is that submitted it for sharing that with us and for acknowledging that they felt that way. And it sounds like doing what you needed to do to help yourself learn how to better navigate that. That's awesome. And that shows that you truly do care about your child and that you're a wonderful parent. They also just wanted to put, they just wanted to be heard, but also just wanted to share for maybe another mom that might be interested or might be going through that right now. They said it took a lot of trial and error to learn coping skills for themselves. Yeah, that's so important. That struggle is real. And in the stages are rough, and a lot of people struggle with the postpartum and post anxiety, things like that. And so, when you got all that mixed in, you got a big life change, a lot of things going on, and then you have that postpartum, it can really put a toll on you. So it's really important that you learn that emotional regulation and coping skills or get some help or be open and honest about it if you can't get the help you need so someone can be there for you to get you that help. Thank you so much for sharing. I do have another one. This one said that they were kind of seeking more guidance or advice. So they put settling down is hard when you've been moving around your whole adult life. I have everything I've ever wanted, but I've never felt more restless. Wow. That's another thing I think a lot of people probably feel and don't recognize it or don't talk about it. That feeling makes a lot more sense than people realize. When someone's been used to movement, change, or the what's next, stillness can feel really unfamiliar. Even when life is good, it's not ungratefulness. I can't talk. It's not that you're not thankful. It's an adjustment, right? It's not that you did anything wrong. It's just that your nervous system is so used to that motion. It feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. And so when you spent years chasing, building, or just surviving, your brain starts to associate movement with purpose. So when things finally slow down, it can feel empty or like something's missing. But what actually is happening is, you're trying to learn a new way to live. And so I guess sometimes when you feel restless, it doesn't always mean something is wrong. It just sometimes means that your life changed faster than your identity could maybe catch up to. Or, you could be grieving the version of you that was always in motion, grieving a life that we thought we were going to have. And now that it's slowed down, or now that it looks different than what we thought it was going to look like, we do kind of go through that grieving process. I think a lot of us don't realize that sometimes. Even if life is even better now, maybe you moved for the good, maybe life's going great. That's a real shift happening, and that still deserves space. Even if things are better, it's still okay to grieve that life that you had or that you thought you were going to have. Sometimes stability can just feel boring before it feels safe. Peace is quieter than chaos, and it takes time to get used to that sometimes when you're not used to it. If you're used to moving around all the time, staying still can be really hard. You don't have to blow up your life to feel alive again. Not saying you're going to do this or that you want to do that. But sometimes we do, sometimes I know I talk with my clients a lot, and it seems, and, I think I've been guilty of this too, where we kind of create chaos, or we create this big thing because the stillness feels weird or uncomfortable. When you're used to moving all the time, you're used to chaos, we subconsciously create that sometimes, I think. And so it's important to recognize, like, we don't have to get up and move again or blow up our life just to feel alive again. There's other things that we can do to get that feeling. It just takes time. So, like, instead of a drastic change, you could try like intentional things like a new hobby, maybe taking some trips, a small trip, or learning a new skill. And you can do all those things without abandoning the life that you've already built and not having to make this drastic change. You could also ask yourself, like, what am I craving? Is it like what's going on inside your brain maybe? Is it that you want freedom, excitement? Do you need some purpose or connection? And then find like safe grounded ways to bring more of that into your current life now to kind of help guide you and kind of help ground you a little bit more and make you feel more stable, make you feel more safe in your current living situation. And I mean, building roots and wings, it takes time and it's hard, whenever you've been moving around your whole life, right? But make sure you tell yourself you're allowed to have stability and explore and grow and create and all those things. Sometimes I don't even think we recognize it, but when we moved around and stuff, our brains, again, it feels uncomfortable to have a sense of stillness or stability. And I think sometimes we don't think that we deserve that or that we can have that. We don't allow ourselves to even try to think of a life that feels more stable or grounded. And so, really exploring that and focusing on that and maybe trying to create something like that, it could be helpful for you. So, I know that was a lot, and hopefully some of that was helpful for you. But I just want you to know, you're not restless because your life is wrong or messed up. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully there's not, some more detail to that where something is going wrong. And if there is, again, reach out to me. But it sounds like, maybe you're restless because you're in a new chapter that requires this different version of you. And that's really hard. And again, it feels really unsafe and really uncomfortable, even if it is safe for you. Your brain recognizes it as, whoa, this is different. I'm not used to sitting still, right? I'm used to being on the go and moving a lot. So it does. It feels unsafe. It feels weird. Your nervous system isn't used to that yet. So give yourself some time to grow into it, and like I said, try to get some roots and wings built and explore where those feelings are coming from, and maybe try trial and error, try some things and see what kind of makes you feel more safe and grounded, what doesn't work for you, because everybody's different. But also allow yourself to grieve. It's good that you're recognizing that. It's good that you said it out loud. That's part of trying to grow and trying to explore and trying to allow yourself to have a life of stillness. I hope that things get better for you. All right. So that's all I'm going to share um, today. But if there's anything that's on your chest that maybe you don't want to come on here and talk about or identify yourself, say your name or show your face or whatever it is, um, I'm gonna leave that form up. I think I got it pinned to the top of the Let's Talk About It page. If not, I'll go do that now. It's an ongoing thing. So, as always, feel free to get on there anytime if you just need to talk, get it off your chest, want some guidance, whatever it is, share with others so they feel less alone. Go in there and fill out that form. And I'm going to continue to do these. And so be listening because whatever you put on there might be shared. Um, thank you guys so much for all the support for the show. Podcast, I said show, but I guess it's the same thing. And all that you guys have done. I hope that maybe some of these things going on, I'm sure there's people out there that can relate. And if there is, I hope it made you feel a little less alone and maybe helped you in some way. As always, thank you, and we'll talk about it next time.